Oil in, money out. Back in my house when I was growing up, my father was the only person, or so he thought, who was allowed to touch the thermostat that controlled the heat. He was the master of security of that device, and he didn't ever walk by it without taking a glance at it. Wintertime in the Northeast is brutal and sends the temperatures plunging to frigid low numbers. The device on the wall that controlled the heat was ruled with an iron fist, and I'm shocked there wasn't some sort of lock or cover over it to protect it. I don't remember what it was ever set to, but I know sometimes when it was extremely cold out that the little lever never moved up past a certain point, no matter what. It wasn't cold in my house. I mean, we didn't walk around with our coats on or anything, but when the weather outside wasn't fit for an Eskimo, one likes to be toasty and engulfing with warm, luscious heat. Many a time I'd break the rules and go to that restricted device and nudge the lever to the right, hopefully not enough to be noticed by my father's watchful eye. God knows who else in my house did this unauthorized deed, but I did it when I knew I could get away with it. Another thing I specifically remember was shower time. Who doesn't enjoy a nice, hot, long shower? When I was a kid, I loved to be in the shower and probably spent more time just standing there than actually washing anything. These days, it's much different. I get in, do my business, and get out. No lingering or lagging. All business and not much wasted time. Showering in my old house was on a timer. Not a set timer or anything so rigid, but whatever time allowable by my father's mood that day. I used to lock the door and get into the shower and begin my ritual, and sooner than later, the knock on the door would come, followed by the watchman's loud and punctuated voice. It wasn't really a knock on the door. It was more like an abrupt, loud warning blow. Bang, bang, bang. Get out of there right now. Right now. Shower time was over. Fun done. I'd quickly finish up and shut the water off, oblivious to the furnace running downstairs, gulping up the oil in the tank that my father worked so hard for. It was the oil. It was this liquid goo that would be brought to our house by the oil man in the big noisy truck, and when he left, it would take with it a large portion of my father's income. The bastard oil that cost so much to heat our house and provide us with the comfort of hot showers and clean dishes and laundry. That is why my father was the all being when it came to that device on our wall. The goo that cost so much was drank by our furnace so quickly with a thirst that was never quenched. Nothing has changed, except maybe for the cost of that prized liquid slime that wars have been fought over and people have literally died for. I don't know what it cost back then, but I do nowadays. You can bet your bottom dollar I do. I recently bought my own oil again. For the third time this winter, I summons that oil man to come to my house in his noisy truck and attach his filthy hose to my house to give my own furnace a nice drink to consume on a daily basis. Gulp, gulp, gulp. I actually cringe nowadays when I hear my furnace kicking in. She's a thirsty old bitch. We have a home heated by oil, and now I have my own kids, and I too have that device on my wall that raises and lowers the temperature inside. I am the only one in my house that actually lowers it. Before bed and before I leave the house for work, I examine it, and even if it hasn't moved, I nudge it down just a tiny bit to make myself feel better. My daughter is 10, and just like me, she enjoys shower time on a nightly basis. In there, in the tub, with that hot water coming out of the shower head like rainfall in the Amazon. It feels nice and warms you up inside that shower. But some things just will never change. After I decide it's been long enough and I just cannot take the sound of that furnace downstairs running endlessly like a fast moving freight train, I have enough and I make my way to the bathroom door and begin that same ritual that has been handed down to me from my father, who was probably handed down from his own father, and so on. Bang, bang, bang. Time's up. My daughter has become me, and I have unconsciously become my father. I get it now, Dad. I understand.